Hello, everyone. It's your friend Tristan Miller. I'm just here to inform you that I'm recording my first stand-up comedy album and special on May the 4th in New York City at Caveat at 4 p.m. You can go to the link in my bio on my social media platforms, or you can go to caveat.com, go to May the 4th, and buy tickets there. Highly recommend that you get them early as they are cheaper that way. Also, after the show, I'm going to go, Phantom Menace is playing in theaters. So I'm going to take a big group to go to the nearest AMC or whatever Cineplex and go see my favorite Star Wars movie. I'll say it with my full chest. My favorite Star Wars movie in theaters again. So hope to see you at both things. If you have to pick one, just pick my show, please. I would like to sell out the house if possible. Anyway, love you. Hope to see you soon. Okay, bye-bye. Coming soon to theaters, podcasts, film reviews, and so much more. Available at tristanmiller.substack.com.
And now, our feature presentation.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Focus Testing, a podcast about movies where we make a movie. My name is Tristan Miller, and joining me today is
Trudy Poux. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. The weather today has been so nice, which I don't know. I feel like people always talk about the weather, but I kind of think it's a boring anecdote. And yet, here I am bringing it up.
Well, I mean, I would say it would be boring. I mean, it's like 60 degrees in the middle of December, so it's not like it's nice. It's nice to have, but it's also like worrying in a lot of ways for me personally.
It's a scientific anecdote, really, about climate change,
Yeah. For true is what I was about to say. For true.
For true. Yeah. It's kind of like you can see how bad an issue gets, I feel like, by how casually it gets brought up. Like climate change is just a conversation starter at this point,
Truly. We've all assimilated into our being, and now we're just like, yeah, it's fine. It's part of our lives.
Yeah.
Nothing to be
climate
done.
change. It's like traffic, same category.
Truly.
But how are you doing, Tristan?
I'm doing, hey, you're the first person to ever ask me on my own show. I appreciate that. There's a level of egalitarianism that is welcome here. I'm doing quite well, thank you. I went to the doctor this morning, and so far, so good. They said I was normal, which is like, on the one hand, nice to hear. On the other hand, troubling, because I'm like, well, but so if I'm normal, then why do I feel terrible? But
like I actually don't think I'm normal, actually.
Yeah. I'm indeed, these might be psychosomatic, but I will figure it out. So you and I met doing improv classes at Second City. How long have you been doing improv, and why do you do it?
We did meet doing improv class at Second City. It was let me think. I got into improv when I was a child, actually, because my mom had a youth improv group. And how that kind of came about is that my family would be trying to eat dinner.
Okay.
And I would be trying to run around singing songs, creating, a whole other world, really, like a renaissance of creation. But they just wanted to eat their food. And so my mom was like, probably should do something about this. But I grew up upstate. And so it was like, it's not like the city where it's like there's so much like there's probably like 10 improv groups for kids maybe, and like a section of a borough, but like upstate it's like that wasn't really a thing. So my mom was like, okay, like she had been running theater groups for like older kids already in the area and teaching theater, and she saw me bouncing around. She was like, how would you like to be in an improv troupe? And I was like, okay, let's see what that
Mm-hmm.
is. And then I kind of never stopped from there, then continued doing improv in high school, and then into college where I have a year and a half left, so I'm still in
Mm-hmm.
college, but
Mm-hmm.
into college back on main campus, I started getting involved with our like comedy group there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very small school, 1800 undergrad, shout out Bard, with one comedy club. And yeah, and then started being the
I
head of
know.
that.
I caught myself now when you said comedy club. I thought like, wow, they have a venue on campus. I'm like, oh no 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 no, a club for
I
comedy.
wish.
Gotcha, 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 gotcha.
No, we had like a stand-up event once in this like
Mhm.
theater on campus, movie theater on campus, I should say. And the microphones didn't work, so then we were just like doing stand-up without microphones,
Ah,
which is a
yes, the
waking
Robin
nightmare.
Williams technique. Yes.
The classic what do I do with my hands technique.
Ah,
Yeah, I was like
truly,
standing up there
truly,
like, okay. Hey
truly.
guys,
Yeah. Where did they go? Yeah, for sure.
yeah, yeah, literally I am like, should I start juggling? I
Hmm.
did have a bag of carrots on me actually, so I just pulled one of them out and was like, hey guys,
That's
just held
so
it like a microphone.
funny.
Thank you. I actually did get laughs on that.
Good. I'm glad.
But yeah, and then just continued from there, came to the city for a program through my college, and then was like, let me take Second City classes. And then
Hmm.
voila, I meet you in my improv 2 class, and now we're
That's
also in
true.
improv 3 together.
That's
So
true.
yeah, how did you start doing improv? Turn it on you once more. I
Yeah, I
don't
was
think I've
gonna say you're
asked.
the only person who's inquired. I don't know if I like it. I think it's nice, but I'm also nervous.
I'm trying to take over the podcast here,
Yeah,
okay?
that is
Let
how
me
it
do what I
feels,
gotta do.
and you're right to do it, to be honest. I'm tired. So with me, I was actually just thinking about this earlier this week. So I've been doing improv for probably about 2 decades at the moment. Yeah. So I started doing theater when I was about 13, and you can do some quick math as to how nearly old I am if you want. And consequently, I started off doing improv. I was doing classical theater and like commedia dell'arte stuff, and so we would improvise a scene and then take the good bits out of it, make sure we hit those beats, then improvise the scene again and like write a sketch essentially, which is what Second City does. And so I've been really comfortable with what we've been up to. Um, and then I just kept doing that. And what's sort of funny about it, I've been doing it off and on in some way for, like I said, a couple of years now. And, but it's taken these classes to like really make me go, oh, well, I should probably be doing this regularly. I love it. It's fun. I'm good at it. We should probably just do this, Tristan. Whereas I kind of got locked into a stand up scene and mindset for the last like 5 years, which I love stand up, but it's like, I'm an actor first, a comedian second. And so doing like acting, I was talking with one of our classmates about like coming from an acting background makes the whole thing a lot easier, and you are able to like know when to hit certain beats a little bit easier than someone who's like in tech learning improv for fun, which both of which are valid and good, and I think positive, but it just, there's a different skill set. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, 100%. I think also coming from an acting background, I think even like the aspect of coming in with an emotion, like
Mm.
knowing where your character is coming from in a scene is invaluable when you're doing improv because like to have that to ground the scene when everything else is going like off the wall, I feel like sometimes in a scene can make such a difference as well. But yeah, but no, stand-up's great too. And I think it's like it's different from improv in a way because you're just up there alone.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. There's like value in both of them. So
Yeah, for sure. And I think I mean the nice thing for me about stand up is like I'm someone who's I'm realizing now kind of a rugged individualist coming from the Midwest and growing up in South Dakota. That's just like kind of part of my DNA. And whereas like you're literally part of a team when you're doing improv. And so like the objectives are the same, but the way they're going about is so different. And it's just, it's nice to be hanging around with people and that you presumably like, Um,
Yeah.
and you said you did stand up as well. Do you do it now as well, or what's the deal there?
I was doing stand up a little bit. I'm kind of on pause from it right now. I think it's fun, but I think also I think honestly part of it is like when I have time for one thing, I just lean towards improv. Is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And but I really like stand up. I think the thing for me is I have an inclination to be like, let me do something and then let me like go to the extreme and then it's like too much a little bit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm kind of trying like right now, like I was kind of thinking also around like performance and feeling like almost like a compulsivity to like perform and continue performing. I was like, what do I like actually want to be doing right now? And I felt like stand up is really fun. And also I was like, I think I just need a little break from it. Cause that's also like improv, you're like sharing yourself kind of, but stand up almost to me feels so much more like personal.
Yeah,
And there
for
is
sure.
nothing more humbling. I mean, it feels great to get laughs, but there's nothing more humbling than doing a joke where you're taking a risk or like a personal risk too. And then
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like dead. So you're like, oh, I'm going to go jump off the Brooklyn Bridge right now. Like
Yeah, for
literally
sure,
like
bro.
not a worse feeling. But yeah, but I hear you with the like rugged individualistic like trait
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes I'm in an improv scene and people are like coming up with great stuff and I'm like, guys, literally just let me do this. Like and it's like,
For sure,
oh,
yeah.
that's not the point of
Yeah.
this.
100%. Yeah, I absolutely can empathize with that. And yeah, I would say that's good that you're checking in. And I think you're right on the money where like one of the reasons improv is so fun, I find, is the fact that like hmm, it's just goofing around, and since you're coming up with it in the moment, so if it doesn't work that well, it's fine. Whereas there's nothing, as to your point, more humiliating than something you've worked very hard on, a joke you've worked on for months, that's deeply personal, and you like have talked to friends about it, and it works 2 out of the 3 times you've done it so far, and then it just dies, and you're like,
Yeah.
well, maybe I'm the problem because there's no one else in this equation. It's either them or me, and they have majority vote right now, and it sucks. It's like really, I think humbling is a really good
Yeah.
way of putting it.
And it's also like it's interesting because I've been on both sides of that. I've been the audience where I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not laughing at a joke, and the comedian is like floundering on stage, and you're like,
Hmm.
I wish I could help you, but I'm an audience member. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
gives good perspective though, I think, to be on both sides because sometimes comedians will turn on the audience too, which I
Oh
just
yeah.
think is never the move. They'll be like, you guys are a bad audience, and I'm like,
It's like,
we're here.
yeah,
Like,
we showed up for this. What more do you
yeah,
want? It's kind of like,
literally, yeah.
yeah, for sure. Um,
So yeah, but it gives perspective. No, that's all I was saying.
okay. Um, Well, moving on to movies, the other equation of this podcast.
Oh
Do you remember
yes.
what's your first memory of being in the cinema?
In the cinema, let me think.
Hmm. The cinema.
I'm trying to think, am I like okay, what's popping to mind is Toy Story 3, but I think I'm like making that up. I feel like I was at home watching Toy Story 3.
Okay.
But spiritually, I was in the cinema watching it, really.
Sure.
I I know I saw stuff before Frozen because I was of walking talking age when it was Frozen. Of course I was because I was like I actually have no reference when that did that come out in like
I think
2016,
2016.
14? Okay, probably around that time. I definitely remember that. Um but part of it is like I'm sure I've seen man Toy Story 3 and Frozen. My parents would be like
Okay.
don't make us look uncultured, but that is literally what is popping to mind. I remember I watched Breakfast Club at home with my
Okay.
parents and they had mentioned hookers. And then I was like, Mom, what does that mean? She's like, I'll tell you later. She never
It's
told me later. And I was like,
you still don't know.
intrigued. I know. I'm like hooker, like fishing.
I
I'm
hardly
I'm
know
lost.
her. Yeah.
Hooker, I hardly know her.
Exactly.
Joe, Mama, I'm lost.
That's funny.
But I think Frozen is the one that's popping to mind right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Oh,
Lovely.
maybe Wizard of Oz. Okay. Now, yeah.
Okay, so that's a very old movie. So you're both very young and very old. What's with Wizard of Oz there?
Botox.
Ah, I see. Fair enough. Who among us hasn't got a little work done?
I know. A lot of people, actually.
It's kind of
Shocking.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, very also like walking around like Williamsburg too. It's like, oh my God, everybody here has work done. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Or perhaps I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah, I think I remember. I think what they were doing was they were like doing a screening of The Wiz somewhere, and I remember seeing that, and I think it was like a special, maybe like Halloween time screening. That's okay. That's my final answer. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. I believe you, and I believe that it's not a false memory.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Now I'm not so sure though.
What about what's your favorite go-to cinema snack?
Ooh. I think Junior Mints or a slushie.
Okay.
Both are good.
Please describe them more.
The snacks?
Why you like them?
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. Well, Junior Mints, look, they keep you guessing because they have kind of a leathery outside, so you wouldn't think it'd be so gooey on the inside. But you take a bite and you're like, whoa. And I think also the outside just has it's like chocolate wax. It's like not like a strong flavor. The inside, boom, peppermint. You know what I mean? Like you are plagued with that. Sometimes plagued with peppermint. And sometimes you get a clump of them. Sometimes you open up a box, they're all stuck together. So you kind of just have to take your disc of Junior Mints, bite into it, like a frisbee. And put it back in. I love them. They keep me guessing. I also just love mint, like desserts, anything mint, really. Slushies, I mean, I hadn't had slushies for a long time because my family was like pretty crunchy, as the kids say. And I did not expect them to be carbonated. So when I had a slushie and I was like, oh my God, this is fizzy, like love fizzy stuff. So basically anything for the like sensory anything, like I'm like spicy food, peppermint, like the cool mint, like anything like that. I think that's what they both have in common is like have some sort of like sensorial aspect.
That's interesting. Yeah, I feel like that's a very interesting point in as much as like I feel with food we often focus on the one sense, which is obviously taste. But like, mouthfeel, a valid reason to like a food. That's why I love a blueberry. I love to pop it. Very fun.
Pop it in your hand before you
like in my mouth. I clamp my little tongue on the roof of my mouth.
That makes more sense.
And I go squish. Squish.
Did you grow up with blueberries, like a garden of blueberries? Very random question.
No, I can't say that. I can't say that I did. We definitely had blueberries about, but my family in general is more of a strawberry clan. Okay. We used to grow strawberries, but blueberries obviously like they come on a bush, so you have to like it's a long investment, and we only rented up until recently. So we didn't have the opportunity to plant. I think they have some sort of berry bush. We had boysenberries at my grandparents' place growing up, and they were always terrible to eat. I don't know if you ever had like a straight boysenberry. It's like really dry, dries out your mouth terribly.
Oh God!
But they're tasty.
Yeah. Wait, what are boysenberries?
And blueberries.
Great way to cap it off, It's like
I try to find the good.
No, I think it's good. I was just gonna say you find the pro and the con. It's a good like habit. You're like, hey, dries out your mouth, but desert feel, but they're good though.
Yeah, you have to take the good with the bad. I don't know what to tell you.
It's good. It's good. So many people just focus on the bad. They leave it at the fact that your tongue would fall off because it's so dry, and they wouldn't get into how good it is.
You lose all feeling. Maybe I'm just allergic to them now that I'm thinking about it.
I
Maybe
keep going to the doctor. They say I'm fine.
Yeah. Anaphylaxis, whatever that. Anapharasis. Anyway. So I have
a lot of different acids.
What were you gonna say? I was gonna say I have some movie trivia for you if you're ready. A couple standard questions that I ask everyone, and then there's kind of random ones. I need to write more of these. I feel like I've been circling the drain lately with these. But the first one is, what is movie?
Oh. This is tough because with virtual reality, what is movie has been expanded. I'm more like, what isn't movie? When do the goggles come off? You know what I mean?
Wake up, sheeple.
I'm confused.
Yeah.
I'm confused these days. I know I tried out that Oculus. Don't remember if I took it off.
Damn.
This could be a movie.
This could be a movie. What is life if not a series of movies that you remember? That's
a series.
Yeah, well, a series, if you will.
Or a long movie.
Or one long movie. Which two horror films would you like to see face off like a Freddy versus Jason style, but not those two, obviously, because that's too easy.
Okay, I have an answer. Okay, the two M's, Midsummer and Megan, because they're so different from each other.
Totally, yeah.
Right? Like, Megan and Florence Pugh? Like, okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you mean Florence Pugh from Midsummer? But calling her Midsummer really got me. For sure, yeah. Oh, who do you think would win?
Oh, well, here's the thing. Okay, Megan has like the robotic, slithery, backflip dance strength, but Florence Pugh, she brings kind of a almost primal maternal energy to the battlefield. So it really depends, right? Because I could see Megan slashing her real quick, she's dead, but I could also see Florence just kind of like mud wrestling Megan, and she wins.
You know, that's fair. I think I could see both of those.
Yeah,
I do think there is something primal about her, for sure.
Right? Do you see someone winning? Do you have a clear image in your mind?
I feel like it has to be Midsummer, lady from Midsummer, whose name I do not remember. Because it kind of feels like,
Flo.
When you hear
Flo?
Flo, yeah. No, I know Florence Pugh's name. I don't know the character's name.
No, I don't know either. I'm just guessing.
Flo is, yeah. Yeah, Flo from Midsummer. Yeah, for
Continue
sure.
with or Rents. It's toss-up. Anyways, continue what you were saying.
I was thinking, when, mums get, like, super strength when their, like, children is in danger or whatever. I feel like she would lock into something like that. Where she's like, I have to prove. But honestly, here's the thing. You have pitted two women against each other, and we hate to see it.
Ooh,
and I feel like Flo would be like, we don't need to do this. I think the third act twist would be like, I don't know, Predator shows up and they both kick his ass or something.
Right, exactly. You could, Florence, she's been in a number of movies as well, like horror movies.
That's true.
She was in that one with Harry Styles as well. Did you see that one?
A horror? I did not see that one. I know it was like a Twilight Zone sort of thing.
Horror. Yeah, it was kind of a horror movie, kind of just like, Harry, hold your acting shot. Like, come on, try a little harder.
Is that the true horror, is seeing someone flounder for 2 hours?
I know, honestly. He was like him yelling was just like, don't do that. But like it was more British though. It was like, I don't understand why you do this to me. Like, kind of like that energy and just like flat tone the entire. I was like, okay, the volume's going up, the inflection is not changing,
The volume is going
no
up.
hate, Harry, if you're watching this. I think you could, with some training, maybe you'd have a chance to beat Megan. I don't think so. Anyways.
No, I like that a lot. Okay, so what's a film you would like people to remember, but they don't?
Oh.
Like something that's slept on.
Yes. Oh my God. I actually was just, okay, this movie, it was very indie. I highly recommend it. It's called Ghostlight.
Okay, I was gonna say, if you say Star Wars or some shit, I'm gonna be mad at you.
The first Star Wars, it's weird. No one talks about it. Am I pronouncing it right? Star Wars?
But Ghostlight. What is Ghostlight?
It is a movie, and it's actually about the theater, if you will.
It is a movie.
Good. Where is it? Oculus. Going back to that. Call back. Somebody give me a nickel. I think I nailed that. Just kidding.
Give me a nickel. Okay.
It's about the theater and about a family processing the loss of one of their children in various ways, and kind of at first it kind of takes the thing of like a child is acting out, but then it has more of like you realize that like the dysfunction of a family isn't on one person. It's like a system of how things work, right? So they all are dealing with this loss in their own ways and acting out in their own ways. And basically the dad in the film starts secretly going to this theater group that he stumbles upon one day who are putting on a Shakespearean play, and highly recommend. I think it's really fun for actors to watch too. Also, I don't think this is slept on, and I don't think people forget this, but Little Miss Sunshine is really good as well. So,
a film I have yet to see. Should see it. Can't believe I haven't. It seems right up my alley, and yet it's never happened.
It's funny. It's funny, yeah.
That's what I hear.
Oh my god, you know what's so slept on? Barbie, the movie.
You did get me. And I am mad about it. Next question is, what is or what was your first character crush? Not necessarily talking about like crush. Actor or actress or whatever. I'm talking about like, I love this character. I want to hold their hand or whatever.
Let me think. If I go back, what was I watching? I was watching Fish Hooks. I was watching SpongeBob SquarePants.
Okay.
I was watching Little Bear, worst show I've ever seen. It was like really touching and great. I just was bored when I would watch it.
Little Bear sucks shit. Let's talk about it. It's a boring fucking show for kids that it's the plain oatmeal of PBS. It's seriously not good.
2 thumbs down, I think.
Yeah.
I think Hannah Montana, or no. I know. Wizards of Waverly Place. This might have been like a pity crush. I just felt like people were hating too hard on him. David Henry, her older brother.
Sure.
I was like, why are they so mean to him? He's actually kind of great, guys. And in retrospect, I'm like, yeah, maybe there was some more layers there.
Yeah. Do you find yourself still feeling that way about people you feel bad about?
Funny you say that. I think I make friends with people who are a little disorganized because I have a lot of compassion for them, you know? I think that theme, not to paint myself as a, I don't know, great person, but I think I just feel a deep level of compassion for people, some who are like going through it, you know? But then I'm like friends with someone and they're like, I lied to everyone in my life and I crashed my car. And I'm like, it's okay. Tomorrow's a new day. Like, okay.
I lied to everyone in my life and I crashed my car.
But yeah, honestly, the little brother too, Max. I was like, why is everyone so mean to them guys? They're kind of cute. Selena, she was great too, but she was like the queen bee, you know. And
it's true.
I don't know. Honestly, all 3 of them. Maybe I would date all 3 of them, and none of them would know. Wizards of Waverly Place.
Okay, all the cast of Wizards of Waverly Place. So my final question is the closer, and it is, why is Austin Powers so sexy? What about the man?
I think it's the teeth, right?
Okay, go on.
I do love Austin Powers, actually. The movie. Yeah, baby. The movie and the man. He kind of has, you know who he has a similar
no, please say it.
I was gonna say maybe he has a similar vibe to kind of like he has a similar like dumb vibe to Jim Carrey and Dumb and Dumber, but also I think it's so different that like it doesn't make sense, but in my head it does a little bit.
There's definitely like an level of energy that you're probably responding to.
Thanks. I am psychic.
You know, like it's like
will be.
like a frantic sort of. Also, doesn't Jim Carrey? I've never seen Dumb and Dumber, unfortunately.
Mm.
Which is again kind of crazy. But he has bad teeth in that as well, doesn't he? He has like a gap tooth.
Yes,
Do you
maybe I
like?
was linking the teeth.
Yeah, it's the teeth. Do you just like? Do you think it's hot when people have bad teeth?
See, you know what it is? Austin Powers, he has too much tooth. And Jim
Yes.
Carrey, he's missing part of his tooth. So maybe I'm thinking of it as like yin and yang.
Yeah.
They complete each other. But I think it's the teeth. I think it's the swagger, the unapologetic confidence. And all I have to say about Austin Powers is that we need like his sister in a movie too, you know, who's unapologetically crooked teeth, like, yeah, baby. I'm not gonna even try and imitate him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Yet.
Give it time.
Yet. But anyways, what do you think makes Austin Powers so sexy?
What I think a lot of it has to do with that he's not interested in anyone who's not interested in him. You know, he's got that free love thing where he's like, yeah, if you're not keen, I'm not going to push it. Why would I? I want to be around people who want to be around me. I think it's that obviously diegetically within the confines of the fiction, he has the mojo, obviously. So there's the je ne sais quoi about him. But I think what audiences have responded to from Austin Powers is like there's a level of like warmth underneath the bravado, which is like kind of rare because often when you have these kind of bold and boisterous characters, they're assholes. Whereas Austin seems like a nice guy. He seems like annoying to be around a little bit, but he seemed like a nice guy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, he's got a genuine like caring aspect about it, which is like again kind of rare when it comes to any sort of like really macho guy.
Right. Yeah, no, you're so he is paving the way to say bye-bye gender roles.
True.
He says, "No, I will be rejecting your toxic masculinity." And I think you're right. He's secure in himself. And I think that he's like, "You don't want me, that's fine. Like I got other," and it's not in a malicious way. He's just like, "You know, that's okay. Like I'm going to move on, you know?"
Yeah.
But it's not in a weird revenge way where he's like, "You don't want me? Fine. I got 10 other ladies lined up the block." You know, like it's not his vibe.
Not at all. He's not like a player in any way. It's this weird thing. He is and he isn't. But like I don't know. Having rewatched the first one, it holds up surprisingly well. Recently, I watched it. I should say.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. There's just like one or two jokes. I'm like, oh, we wouldn't do that now, which is like you kind of can't help that, but. Good movies. Love him. Again, you're the first person to ask me what I think about Austin Powers, and so thank you. I appreciate it. Having a genuine interest.
I am curious, you know?
Mm-hmm. You do seem like a curious person. Wait, is that why you do improv? You're trying to discover what's new?
I think part of it, the reason I do improv is also, if you can't tell, I am pretty caffeinated right now. So I'm like boom, boom, boom. But thanks, matcha. Anyways, the reason I think I do improv is because I think it like helps kind of quell this like intensity that I have a little bit. Like I feel like if I don't like I almost like I get kind of like creatively frustrated if I'm not doing improv. I feel like honestly it's like a way to kind of let it all out a little bit. And yes, I think also it's like I want to like challenge myself, but also it like I think I am curious about like what do other people have to say, and I think watching improv, even though it can be so frustrating to watch it sometimes rather than like do it, I think it like helps me see like, oh, I see what that person did there that works, like I see how I would change that scene. Oh, this scene struggled because this person didn't catch like these two leads that this other character was like giving them. And like, so I think that like it does really help. And I think in general with comedy, I'm very much like, I love watching, like when I was younger, for example, I like would watch The Office like over and over and over and over because I was like, internally taking notes and like, why is this
Mm,
funny? Why is this? You know what I mean? And like dissecting all of that and then like using those things and inserting it back into comedy. But
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. What do you feel like comedy, like, how does it kind of, I guess, like contribute to your life in a way? Like, yeah, what is it for you?
Sure. I think a lot of it is like I have a lot of energy and it's an easy way to get it out. I've had less energy lately because of the winter, but like I've kind of like you were saying growing up, I was so fidgety and so like bipping around all the time that when I found theater, they were like, "Thank God. This kid is like exhausted by the time they get home finally." Um And so that's part of it, and that's still part of why I love to do it. And I think it is also like for me, I love being creative, and the easiest way to keep the momentum going is just to keep doing it. And the easiest way to keep doing it is to improvise, because then again, you're just making something up, and if you kind of like catch an idea that you actually want to explore later on, you'll remember it and you'll put it in your back pocket and then you'll work on it.
Mm,
Like I've written a couple of scripts based off of stuff I've improvised in this, and I'm like, oh no, that actually would be a good one. So let me just kind of pluck that down.
mm,
Um, but also for me, it's a way to communicate with people that like I'm from the Midwest, so I'm kind of aw shucks. I'm so it's an opportunity to communicate where I think I'm contributing positively to what's going on top of like whatever we're doing, where I'm also like being funny, so it's like kind of it disguises something, you know what I mean? It's trying to you put a spin on it where I don't feel like I'm taking up someone's time with just like, oh well, this
mm,
is what I think, whereas if you say it as a joke, they're at least getting something back from it, you know what I mean? So I,
100%.
I think that's my own kind of neuroses or what have you, but that's a big part of it. That, and it's just like it's. I think I have a lot of. This is going to sound so corny. I think I have a lot of joy in my heart, and it's nice to share that. You know.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I don't think that's corny. I think it's truthful. I
Thank
also
you.
I was thinking earlier when you were talking about getting back into improv
Mm,
and joining the Second City class, because in improv one I remember, I don't think you, or not improv one, in improv two, I don't think you were in the first class I went to, but I think,
that's
did you come the
correct.
second or third class?
Second class. Yeah, I hadn't
Yeah.
signed up.
I remember you came in and you started improving, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like this person is like adding like so much to our group." Like you came in, you killed it. I was like, "This is so cool to watch." I was like, "I want to like watch more of what they're doing. Like I need to like learn from them. I'm jealous. Like I need to up my game." Like it was so fun to watch. And so
Oh,
I
I'm
think
so sorry.
it's interesting to hear like your perspective on it as well. I mean, I could also definitely tell that it makes so much sense that you have a lot of improv experience, because I feel like you totally like jumped in and like picked it up
Oh,
when you
thank
came
you. I
in.
appreciate you saying that. That's really lovely to hear. Thank
No,
you.
definitely. And I think everyone was thinking it too, because after, like, I could tell everyone was like a little bit like, oh my gosh, who is this person who just came in, like, blew it out of the water? And it was so fun. Like, I feel like honestly, though, like, these classes have just been so fun too. Like,
Oh
it's
yeah.
been two different groups of people, because I accidentally skipped improv too. But, but it's been like two different groups of people and both so fun in such different
Hmm.
ways as well.
Yeah, it's been really nice that like no one's been an asshole. You know what I mean? It's like kind of
Yeah.
tricky. And maybe, they say if you don't see an asshole, you are one, but I don't think that's the case with me. But it has been really lovely. It's been really fun. And for me, it's been really great to be able to play without um like the expectation of it like necessarily working well, because you're in a classroom and you're like we're just kind of feeling it out, and also like there's no audience, so the stakes are lower, so you can actually be far more free, and it's been just really invigorating. And I want to extend as well, like every time you're in class and I see you working, I'm like this is so fun, and you do elevate every scene you're in. So
I so appreciate that. It's
mhm,
so great to hear. Yeah,
mhm.
it's so fun. You're right. It's so fun just like workshopping stuff.
Yeah, it's like very low pressure, very low stakes, and it feels very good to do. Um,
100%.
are you ready for the random word
Oh,
for
let's do it.
our? Okay, we go.
I'm so excited.
Equinox. Okay, that's nice.
Okay. The gym.
Equinox.
Heard of it.
Heard of the gym.
Have 3 memberships. Don't have to. Just do. Sorry, what were you saying?
I just like collecting them. I do a new email and I get a new credit card. It's just like a fun thing that I like to do.
I have to change my identity because they keep going into debt or whatever.
I think there is something about like breaking down Equinox. So it's equal. So it's obviously it's got to be for me thematically. I feel like it's got to be that. I feel like something's coming to me, idea wise. But do you have anything off the top of your head that you want to share? I always defer to the guest.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna be so honest, so vulnerable, and say I made that joke about the gym to deflect from the fact that I don't know what that word means. And I'm really trying. Fair. I'm really trying. I'm thinking sunset. I don't know if that's right. Really?
Yeah, no. So the equinox is when you're it's the season change, when you're right in the middle. When the day is as long as it is short. Like it's right. We have 2 of them. We have one spring and one fall, I think. I'm
thinking bounce.
Balance?
Like things are bounced.
Yeah. I think it's gotta be like it's definitely gotta be about equality in some way, because it's like equinox, equality. And I feel like maybe is it about like the suffragettes? Is it about?
Oh,
I'm seeing because the vernal equinox I think is the fall, the one in the autumn. So I'm seeing like some sort of festival as well. It's
maybe
hard
it's
when you
like. Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say?
It's just tricky when you have an idea that's not words. You see it and you're trying to describe what you're seeing.
Sure.
Like I feel like sometimes like. Yeah, I see suffragettes. I see like people in like pilgrim outfits. It's like something's coming to me, but I don't know fully what it is yet.
When they were rallying for equality, there was a lesser known group also rallying for something.
That's very good. I like that.
But they weren't like in the history books. Maybe it wasn't as important as equality.
I think the idea of like someone tacking on. I was just listening to a podcast about how men's rights activists like started off in lockstep with feminism and then obviously have splintered off since then. So the notion that like there's like a third thing that's like, we should be treating dogs fine or something, like something that is like so like not as important as women's right to vote. I think tacking on like it should be it should be a small town. They're trying to get the right to vote, and then like the comptroller they want to change as well. You know what I mean? Where it's like, right. This is important as well. This is on the ballot, but also can we like this guy's gerrymandering and we don't like it or whatever it is.
Right, exactly. Yeah, like the lesser cause that's not quite as important.
For sure. I think
they try and add on to the women's march with like they're like, can we hang our banner too? Actually, impeach our comptroller.
I think that's very good. I think it should be impeach the comptroller. I think why do they want to impeach the comptroller? I think he is using his power. Because I think it's this, no one knows what a comptroller does. So he's just rocking up and going, no, I'm taking care of this and that and this. And they're like, is that your purview? And I'm like, yeah, I'm the comptroller. And it's just this guy who is slowly taking over the entire town.
You know what it should be? They should be advocating for comptroller education in schools as well. They're like, we need to tell our kids what this means.
I like that a lot. Yeah. So I feel like it's got to be like a ragtag group of like 5 people pushing to get rid of this comptroller. I think also ironically all women. It doesn't have to do with the subject, but they all are all women because they're the only one taking notice. And then I feel like with the comptroller, it should either be like Jeff Bridges or Danny DeVito. Like Yeah, those are the two people I'm seeing in my head. Either someone who's like really charismatic or like Danny DeVito, who is also charismatic, but like in a weird way. Like he's got a crazy energy.
Unlikely charisma.
Unlikely charisma. Oh, I like
Like
that.
so low, so zany that it works.
Yeah.
You know.
He's
He's got
walking.
that
Yeah, no,
fire.
yeah, I take care of that too. I'm a comptroller. I think
Yeah.
that's good. How do
Okay, the
they?
ragtag group.
Yes.
How did they come together? How did they meet? I think we have to figure out, you know? Like maybe the comptroller did something totally effed up to them, maybe separately, you know? Maybe the comptroller, maybe the comptroller is like sending people to war. Like, but it's like actually like
Yeah, no, yeah, I like that a lot.
but it's like they're like, I don't think there's like a war going on right now. Like
You would think that, but it's happening in the Sudan. You know, a place we're not even thinking about. We're just helping them out over there. And it's really
it's like their husbands keep getting sent off. It's like
so
they're trying to
funny.
figure out like what is this war he's talking about? Like we don't think this is happening. Like
he's starting a fake war, fake land war or whatever. I think to get rid of these husbands, and then what does he want? Why does he want the husbands out of there?
Maybe he's sending them to work on like a farm that he has part ownership in somewhere else.
That's great. That's
so
very
it's
good.
Like he's getting free labor because they're not getting paid somehow.
Yeah, I mean, because he's just like shipping them off. And he goes, well, it's a volunteer position because they volunteer to fight in this war that they think is real. And then they get there and it's just like, I don't know, a pear orchard or whatever. And he's making wine. He's trying to be a wine magnate. Yeah. So we have this ragtag group of 5 gals. Right. What are they like? Who do we think should play them? Let's like get into some characters here.
Okay. So right off the bat, I think that I think they are exactly like you said, unlikely. A ragtag team. I think there should be like mini rivalries within the group that get dissolved once they realize they don't actually have any beef. Like maybe they realize throughout the film, maybe the twist is like all their husbands suck and they realize it throughout. They're like, wait, like
oh, he does that with you as well?
Yeah, they're like, oh, I don't actually know that. Like, and by the end, like maybe the group like kind of they're actually like, you can keep them at war. Like, we're
That's
good.
Funny. What
what are your thoughts on the group? Like are any characters like I'm trying to think of people who might be good to play them. You know who might be good? Oh my god, what's her face? It starts with like a D. She played Janet in The Good Place.
Oh, Darcy Carden.
Yes. She might be good to play one of them.
I think Darcy Carden would be good. I think putting Aubrey Plaza there makes sense.
Yeah.
And she's like, we should murder him. And everyone's like, hey.
Yeah.
You know, I think getting Kiki Palmer in there if we can.
Yes, definitely.
I think Hunter Schafer would be really good as well.
Oh, yeah. Maybe we get like America Ferrera as one of them.
Great. Perfect. Yeah. That's 5. There we go.
I feel like she could be kind of like the person, no offense, the slightly boring character who kind of tries to lead the group, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the other ones could be more personality kind of.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, she has a very steady hand.
Yes,
when she's on screen. She's someone you can like lay a foundation on. Yeah, I think that's very good. And I think them all realizing their husbands are terrible is great. I think it is because the idea of them like marching into, I assume we're going with Danny DeVito here, right?
Oh, let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Danny DeVito's office and like him going, oh no! And they're like, no, you don't understand. You need to keep them there for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. Right. Maybe the whole movie he's trying to fend them off in other ways. They finally get to him. And he's like, wait, you don't understand. And they're like, no, we don't care. Keep them there. And he's like, oh, okay. Like, or whatever, you know.
Sounds good to me. Yep.
Right.
I think that's very good. I think him, like, and that's obviously, you know, throughout the rest of the film, those are the set pieces, is they're trying to stop this comptroller. And I
Right.
think what would be also very good when they finally get to him and they're like, he's like, it's about your husband's, right? It's like, no, you're just like not using the budget correctly. And he turns to them and goes,
Yeah.
you know what a comptroller does? And they're all like, yeah, you're a comptroller. We don't like that this is going to this and this is going to this.
And I love that. And maybe they negotiate with their husbands. They're like, you can keep our husbands, but we want more of the budget going to education. Like,
I think that's
okay.
really good. Yeah. You gotta pay our teachers more. You can keep Dale. He sucks. But we
Yeah.
need more teachers. You know, they have a union now, or whatever. I
And
like that.
maybe one of them, there's like a throwaway line about her husband and Danny having something in common because they both lie to her about money. Like, you
That's
know,
funny. That's
you know.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very good. Very clever.
I love that. And so, okay, are we keeping the parallel of there being a women's rights march, a feminist uprising, perhaps?
I think we should definitely have that going on constantly in the background. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Trudy. We're here hitting a real blind spot in my history knowledge here. In as much as like any like
too.
Yeah, history, like American history of the past 200 years, I'm like, I don't really
We're here now, so
yeah,
that's all
exactly.
we need to know.
But I think what's important is in the background, you're seeing all these marches and all this stuff, and it's like kind of interplayed between the two. And then it ends, you know, obviously they're confronting Danny DeVito, and it's like I imagine it in his office, and a parade and a march is going on in the background, and then it's obviously all these women marching to vote for the first time, and it's this big celebratory things, and so the both wins happen at the same time in parallel. And then you see like a spinning newspaper and it says women's right to vote, and then at the bottom it says also so and such and such budget, you know.
Yeah. That's so funny. Right, they're celebrating and other women are like, I can't believe we did it. And they're like, I know.
Exactly. This is crazy. For sure. And it's all and then I think that like one of them should be like, and it's all thanks to this great man. We have all of this stuff. And like, the other women are like, you can't be serious.
Yeah.
Surely not.
Exactly. They're like, and how did it feel to vote? And they're like, wait, say what now?
Oh shit, that was today?
What? Oh my god.
They all forget to vote.
So busy. Yeah.
Oh, that's very good.
So funny.
I think that's very good. And then Aubrey Plaza could just be like, "No, I don't believe in the system. You know, I'm abstaining because I don't like either." Like either candidate. I like that a lot. Who do you think should play the husbands on the vineyard?
Oh, great question. Okay,
There should be like kind of a Family Guy cutaway to them, like maybe once or twice. And so I feel like we can really stack this lineup of like, because we're only getting them for a day. You know, we can.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god. I'm blanking on his name. He played the douchebag in Bridesmaids, who was like, oh my god. He's a big comedy guy.
Film I haven't seen.
Okay, wait. Let me look it up. Bridesmaids cast.
I got it. I'm on IMDb right now.
Okay. He's
not Terry Crews.
No, but he could be good, I suppose.
Joe Nunez is always good.
Oh, John Hamm, that's his name.
Oh, sure, yeah. Throw him there.
Broy bro.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's good.
For you?
I think Thomas Cruise comes to mind. I think John Hamm really kind of sets a tone though for me of like men with a capital M, right? So I feel like it should be John Hamm, Chris Pine,
Stephen Colbert. An
That's
unlikely choice, but could be funny.
Yeah, could be very funny. Famously, very funny gentleman. I
True.
think Samuel L. Jackson. And he's like,
Yes.
I cannot believe I am here. This sucks so much. I mean, this.
Yeah.
I think the joke would be all of these guys going, man, I can't believe we just are working for free all the time. And then it just pans over to Samuel L. Jackson. It's like, yeah, it sucks, doesn't it?
Right, yeah.
You know?
100%. Right.
And then I think
it's like, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Go. No, I was just gonna say, yeah, that parallel is great.
Yeah, I think John Goodman should be the final one.
Oh my God, wait, who is he? He sounds so familiar, but I don't
He's
know his face.
on. I guess he would be. Your touchstone might be. He plays Pacha in Emperor's New Groove. He's on.
Okay.
The Connors, which is currently airing, which is a sequel to Roseanne. He's the husband on Roseanne,
Okay.
famously.
Let's cast him. I'm
Sure.
feeling it.
Sure. If you,
Maybe Jason Momoa. Just
that
why
actually would
not?
be really good. Yeah, just chuck him
Yeah.
in there for good measure, for
Yeah,
sure.
Maybe he's the one who's like operating the farm.
I was gonna say, because the visual of him and Danny DeVito talking, very funny.
Oh,
Big
oh
guy,
my
little
God.
guy, classic.
Yeah.
Easy as. So funny.
100%. Yeah.
Mhm. And like, 'cause Danny DeVito's so small and round, and like has like no hair, and then this tall, beautiful, long-haired, and I think there should be a scene where he's like Danny DeVito's like really taking him to task, because that's always funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool.
100%.
I think we solved it. Do we have any other things? Do you have like a director or a soundtrack in mind, or anything else that comes to mind? Any ideas that we haven't discussed about this film?
Oh yeah, I have an idea for the soundtrack.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I have an idea that comes to mind. I think that we need to have a montage of the men working on the farm in slow-mo to Only Time by Enya. Who can say where the road goes?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And they're slow-mo, like digging.
Digging, like washing, like dripping water on themselves. It's very sensual. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
They're like kind of in love with each other,
Mhm.
and then maybe it cuts to the women during this and they're like everything's going smoothly for them. Like maybe the last touch I have is like they're really realizing, wait, we don't need our husbands, because they realize like, yes, they've been bringing in money, but like they've been doing all of the housework, all of the childcare situation, and they've actually found like more loyal partners through each other.
And that's
Those are my
feminism.
touches. What directors? What is your idea? Who do we need to bring onto this project?
I feel like obviously, I think the first person that comes to mind is obviously Greta Gerwig. But
Oh my God.
I feel like we've kind of seen her touch on these themes before, like with Barbie, and so I feel like if we could get someone, honestly, I think Catherine Hardwicke would be really funny. She directed Twilight, famously, and I'd be like, I'd love to see what she would do with this. She's not a comedy director at all, so that would be interesting. Or cause Michelle, I can't remember her last name, but did American Psycho.
Oh my gosh. Okay, sounds cool.
I think she would be good as well, because that movie's quite funny in a lot of ways. I'm doing this mostly for my own edification of Psycho. Directed by Mary Harron, not Michelle. Mary Harron. Knew it was an M though. Yeah. Those are what come to mind, because I feel like you have to have a woman director, because otherwise it looks just awful. Alternatively, Danny DeVito, really good director, really funny, really zany. You should watch his stuff. So if we want to go that way, we could go that way as well.
We could go that way, and we could just cast another guy, or he could do both. He could do both.
He's done both before. If you've seen Death to Smoochie, he's in it, or Matilda, he's also in it and directed it. So.
Oh my God! Of course. Oh, Matilda, what a good movie. I'm glad that we ironed this out, because I feel like this movie, as movies go, Grammy.
It's just gonna win for, and he's gonna get a second. Just the soundtrack. Just the sound, not even the sound design, just the soundtrack. We get Anya to write an original, and that's what gets. nominated.
Gigi Wiggy, aka Greta Gerwig, she's like, guys, so far no Oscars are coming in, but promising Grammy nom. Tried to get us in the Tonys, didn't understand what they did, but again, we're doing great at the Grams.
I'm so sorry, Gigi Wiggy, really? It's just nonsense. Oh, that's very good. Okay, are you ready for a lightning round?
Ooh.
So we each get the same word, we do a little prompt.
Okay.
So here we go.
We do a little what?
Prompt. We do the same word, we do a little pitch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
sure.
For example,
of any movie.
Length, yeah, whatever comes to your mind. Length, for me, is about someone who is trapped in, it's very metatextual, watching a bad film for a torture. Like, they have to watch the same film over and over and over again for an unspecified length of time, as like a part of a torture device from a terrorist organization. They have to watch Adam Sandler's 8 Crazy Nights for 47 hours. It just keeps going. That's what comes to mind for length for me. And you.
Oh, that's great. I think I'm gonna take a different direction because horror, love that. I'm trying to think, how different can I take it? I'm thinking kids sports movie, She's the Man vibe, length. I'm thinking gymnastics.
Right.
And they're in the gym, okay? They're in the gymnastics gyms. And they're thinking, what are the lengths we can go to get to the Junior Olympics? Not even the Olympics. They're 2. They're 2 years old. And they're
but they're played by adults.
Right.
By very old
10,
people.
15.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's Steve Martin and Martin Short playing 2-year-olds with a digital body.
Their heads are on the little baby bodies.
Exactly.
Right. Because or we have them toddlers, but we just have their mouth like.
That's funny. That's always wacky.
For anyone only listening, basically what I just mimed was 2 fingers opening and closing the mouth like, I don't know, a puppet. And so yeah, I think that would have to be my go-to for sure.
Okay.
For length.
Great. Next one is credit.
Oh.
For me, it's about someone in the 1970s. He's listless and he's wandering around and he's going to junior college and he ends up going for 6 years and he just keeps taking the same classes because he doesn't know what to do with his life.
Yeah.
And eventually it turns out what he should be doing with his life is working at the junior college. He's like, I love it here. I'm going to just work here now. I'm in admin, not even as a teacher.
Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
I love that. And wow, and boy, does he go on some wacky adventures trying to get to that position.
Truly. Truly.
Oh my gosh. Okay. For me, credit. I think that it's about gambling, and I think it's about the inner workings of this casino, and it's hard because online gambling has become super popular. So they're like, how can we get back our cred in the game, if you will? Our audience faithful to our gambling, right? And it's the kind of movie where there's not one good person in it. Everyone sucks. Like, let's think Succession, but gambling, right? And really the last straw is when they're elderly folk who are consistent people, they die while playing the penny slots. So they really lose their main customer base. So it's tough. How did they die? Well, some of them just have a heart attack, but then some of them, there was like an issue with the machine and they got electrocuted.
Oh my God. That's
and they're fighting a lawsuit also while they're trying to get their skin in the game, online gambling. I have a feeling that one is not going to get made, but
I would say it seems a little, it sounds like a great pitch for like you were saying, like an HBO series. I would definitely watch like a comedy drama set in like Las Vegas casinos.
This is a documentary.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Imagine.
Fair enough.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. And I feel like your pitch is like kind of like the not epilogue. What's the one before? Before a
Prologue?
story. Yes, the prologue of Community, the show.
Oh, true. Yeah. It's about Jim Rash's character eventually becoming the dean.
That show, honestly, amazing. So unhinged.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely wacky. The last word we have is section. Section.
Oh.
So for me, it's about a gal. She works at a furniture store, and she's working on commission. But since she's new, she has she is given the hardest bit of furniture to sell, which is of course sectional couches. And she's really trying to work hard, and then she goes through some sort of like she meets with someone, and her demeanor changes, and then all of a sudden she's able to sell them quite easily. Maybe it's a Faustian thing where she makes a deal with the devil, played again by Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
It's just like top of brain. And then of course, she makes some sort of, bargain that ends badly for her. And then turns out that, you should just be content with what you have. Isn't that always
high stakes? So it sounds like, she gets so good, she goes bad.
That's true. She gets so good, she goes bad. What about you for section? What do you think?
You can steal that tagline. That's okay. That's okay with me. Section. I think it's about the horrors of how wrong a C-section can go.
Oh my gosh.
And they're on the operating table. But that's not the baby. That's the mom, because something's going really wrong there. And I think it's somewhere along the lines of just body horror / baby mom possession Freaky Friday situation.
So let me just key on what you just said. They cut her open too much, first of all. And then also she swaps consciousness with a newborn. So there's this kind of dichotomy of the horror of being like trapped in a baby's body with a full consciousness of an adult. It would be so awful. You can't do anything for yourself. Or maybe it'd be great. She has a break, whatever. But then also her body is possessed by a literal infant. So she's walking around doing whatever, can't do anything for herself. That sounds very funny and terrible.
Thanks. That's essentially the idea of it. Is they're swapped, and maybe it starts out as horror, but dare I say that by the end it could be heartwarming as they
because
as they find how to live their lives with their new anatomy. The baby doesn't know shit. I mean, the baby just got here, but the mom definitely got to learn how to survive in that little baby body. And
maybe she's like a workaholic at the beginning, and like I don't need anyone kind of person, and then by the end of it she's like, no, it's actually good to like let people help you.
She's like, I've learned some lessons, guys.
Exactly.
In her little baby body. I've learned some lessons. Can somebody else make dinner? I cannot reach the stove as I am 1 foot tall. Yeah.
It is kind of giving Stewie Griffin, if I must say. It is like, I seem to be trapped in the body of an infant. Oh no.
Wow. Didn't know we had Stewie on the pod. Excuse me, I must go fangirl. Can I have an autograph? And I think by the end they learn to appreciate what they have, and oh my god, I had an anecdote about this movie, but I think it's basically, it's like kind of like a thrown out Black Mirror script, or they're like, this one's too silly.
Sure. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. I like that a lot. Well, we've come to the end of the podcast.
Yes.
What would you like people who listen to this podcast to know about you? Anything you would like to plug, or are you just like hanging out?
Yeah. Be careful when you get a C-section, because you just never know what'll happen. Thanks.
Not to cause any further anxiety about surgeries. Doctors do know what they're doing, but do they? They're just some guy or gal or whatever.
I don't know about this one.
I just like the idea of like someone being on an operating table at a surgery going, heck, I don't even know what I'm looking at here. Jeez Louise.
Wrong room again. I'm the electrician. No, but in all seriousness, what do I have to plug? I'm a musician, a composer, an actor, comedian. If I perhaps can say so. My Instagram, Trudy Poux, Poux. Go check that out. I have my Spotify link there. I was in an off-Broadway showcase. I was the lead in that and helped compose the music for that. So keep an eye out. There may be more info on the hopefully upcoming run of that in a while, and tickets. So that's in a while. But yeah, I'm also posting stuff on my YouTube a lot. So definitely check that out. I have a comedy sketch coming out with my friends soon, which is going to be super fun. And I also filmed kind of a sock doc about lost socks and McCarran Park in Williamsburg. So yeah. But thanks so much for having me on the pod, Tristan. I had a ton of fun talking about movies and improv and honestly anything that came to mind.
Yeah, I had heaps of fun as well. I'm going to say this now to the listener. If you enjoy this program, you can go to tristanmiller.substack.com and support it there. By it, I do mean me. You were very gracious. When you said, what do y'all generally do to record? As if I have a team. No, it's just me. I also do reviews up on the Substack of movies I've seen. They're generally mildly amusing. And then there's also a bonus podcast called Movies to Fall Asleep To, which is a sleep podcast where I talk to people about their comfort movies. You can check all of that out. But this has been so much fun, Trudy. You're such a delight to talk to and goof around with. Thanks so much for agreeing to do it. And I will see you literally in 2.5 hours for class.
Yeah, I'll see you for our improv class. And I'd just like to say really quick before we go, it's really flattering that I didn't get invited onto the sleep podcast because...
Listen, Trudy, you seem boring as hell. Can I ask you to lull someone to sleep for me real quick?
I think someone needs to be sleeping while you're talking. This one's going to be tough. But yes, I'll see you very soon. And thank you for having me on. And thank you for listening. That you was a listener that time. Okay.
Well, also me, I guess. But okay, the podcast is done.